Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, has doubled down on his remarks that the Democratic Party is being led by what he called childless cat ladies. Vance made the original comment on Tucker Carlson's show on Fox at the time in 2021.
We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made. And so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children.
Kamala Harris is a stepmother of 2 children. At the time of Vance's remarks, Pete Buttigieg was in the middle of the adoption process and welcomed his twins shortly afterwards with his husband while serving as Secretary of Transportation. Also in 2021, Vance advocated for a voting system that would allow people with children to cast more votes on behalf of their children. Vance addressed the controversy Friday in a new interview on the Megyn Kelly show on SiriusXM, defending his remarks and repeating his claim that Democrats are anti-family.
Obviously, it was a sarcastic comment. I've got nothing against cats. I've got nothing against dogs. I've got 1 dog at home, and I love them, Megyn. But look, this is not, people are focusing so much on the sarcasm and not on the substance of what I actually said. And the substance of what I said, Megyn, I'm sorry, it's true.
Wow, everyone. Hey, this is the David Washington Show, and I am David Washington, the host, obviously. And wow, there's a lot of talk about this cat lady statement by J.D. Vance. However, what I really want to get into, and there's been scant coverage of this particular part about what he said about families having proxy voting for their children, parents having proxy voting for their children. And that's called Demeny voting. And I'm going to pull up Wikipedia. Yay. Demeny voting, also called parental voting or family voting, is a type of proxy voting where the provision of a political voice for children by allowing parents or guardians to vote on their behalf. Again, Demeny voting is a type of proxy voting where the provision of a political voice for children by allowing parents or guardians to vote on their behalf. And this term is named after demographer Paul Demeny through a concept that predates him. And we can go into that a little bit later in discussion in the comments. And I'll put a link into the show description in regards to the definition of Demeny voting. When I was a master's student at the University of Illinois, Chicago, actually the Jane Addams College of Social Work, that's where I received my MSW. And in one of my classes, we were reading a book about how to make our systems, institutions helping families better. And in that book, and I'm still, and anyone out there, if you know this book, please share it with me. I've been looking for it on the internet, everything. It's a great book. I think I have it somewhere between here in Florida and Illinois, but it was a great book. And they examined different institutions that affect our families and how to make them better. And I thought it was great. And one of the things that came up in this book, and I graduated with my master's back in the early 2000s. As a matter of fact, 2000 was the year. So that's about 25 odd years ago. And I was just fascinated by this concept of family voting or Demeny voting. Now, you'll hear in the media some media. I read a blog post in the Readout blog that it's racist and misogynist. I'm like, oh my God, is everything racist, misogynist, sexist, whatever with the liberals? I mean, to be a liberal, a Chicago Democrat, I'm kind of ashamed that that was the approach of this particular article or blog post. But anyway, Demeny voting was interesting to me because it seemed to be family focused. And if my wife and I have one vote, like you and I already have, we have one vote each. However, I love America, and I want the best for America. And America should be about its future. And when I go into the polling booth or when I'm sitting down discussing my kitchen table issues, now I'm pretty much doing it by myself. I'm divorced, but I'm engaged. But when I'm sitting down reviewing my kitchen table issues and preparing to vote by researching all the candidates and the issues, my point of view, my kitchen table issues are what's going to make my part of the world, my community, better for, of course, myself, sure, and my community. And at the time when I had young children, I voted in the best interest of my family, of my children. I moved from Chicago to the northwest suburbs so that I have a school district that was better. I have an affordable house for my family, a yard for my children to play safely in, a community that looked after one another, that was about the same values and issues I was about. I worked hard to provide and lead my family, to protect them. So why not vote in that frame, in that paradigm, in that frame, so that my boys have a better future than I have? And so when I read this book, and once I find it, I have to dig through some boxes, my parents' library. I'm going to read it again and share it. Special trip to Chicago. This concept has stuck with me for years, 25 odd years. And I did another podcast about this. But since J.D. Vance, said what he said, it's had some pushback. But however, you got to look past the sarcastic comments about, childless cat ladies, and look at the essence of what he's saying. Don't we all want the best for our children? I've worked in child welfare. I worked with families for 21 odd years. I've saved children from abuse and neglect. Unfortunately, there were times where I had to permanently remove children from their families. I've stood in court. I could probably count on two hands how many times I testified, stood in court in front of a judge where a parent's rights were terminated. Not too many of you can say that. There's so many children waiting for adoption. What about their futures? Demeny voting, in my honest opinion, will allow us to have a different focus beyond the special interests, beyond the cultural wars. Perhaps our fiscal policies will change. Perhaps we focus a little bit more on climate change. Take things that are beyond our lifetimes as adults. Take those issues and be mindful of the world that we are leaving for our children. Here in Florida, we have an election. August 20th is a primary. And as I've gotten older, especially as I've started my first love, second career here in politics, I've examined my ballot very, very closely. And I'm being incredibly honest here. I've reviewed my ballot for weeks, researching. And every cycle, it gets longer and longer. I start studying ballot initiatives. Once the wording and the legal challenges are over, I'm studying them. I've studied them before the legal challenges and wording is finalized. Partly because, this is, what I do. This is, my job. But it's also about my future and the future of my sons, the future of your sons and daughters, your nieces and nephews, your godchildren, your friends' children you don't even know. And Demeny voting, in my opinion, which we all have one, in my research, which a lot of us have not researched this, would be good. What's wrong with family? What's wrong with when you go to the ballot box, you have family and community in mind? I don't know. J.D. Vance could have said this better. I get it. Probably because this is what we do. This is part of what we do as your political innovators. We examine between the lines. We talk about those things that perhaps most of us don't have time to research or discuss. So we do that here for you. And I appreciate you tuning in. With this election cycle, you'll be seeing a lot more of the David Washington Show. There has not been a slow moment. I really appreciate your comments. Again, let's keep it respectful, tactful, because, we're all part of this community, Ubuntu. And we start at a place of respect when we're communicating. And of course, bring your facts, not your feelings, because we don't care about your feelings. And I will point that out. And let's look at all of the content that's created and let's have a conversation. And please take your time. And, even if it's just, a handful of episodes or if you just glean over our website, check out the Informer newsletter, check out, our blog, The Hawkeye, so you can get a much clearer perspective of who we are and what we do. And please reach out. Thank you to everyone who has reached out to me. Jay Townsend, thank you so much. Peter Vivaldi, thank you so much. JD down in House District 47. Everyone, we have to get together, have these conversations. It was my pleasure meeting Representative Paula Starks. It's been great. This election cycle is still going on. Don't get me confused there. It's still going on. But however, I've just met some really great people lately. And Jason Willis, keep your chin up. We got this. And my newest friend, Lenora Easter, you're phenomenal. Let's move forward. So again, Thank you so much for being a part of our community. And please like, share, hit the notification button. But even more importantly, please comment. Be a part of our community. Let's have that discussion, and let's keep it respectful. Let's do what we need to do to keep it respectful. And let your friends and family know all about what we do here. Or political or elected, please, we'd love to hear your perspective, because we don't operate in a vacuum. We're out there. We're having these conversations. Hey, you like my T-shirt? Voting is my black job. Thank you, Sharita. I really appreciate the T-shirt. Thank you so much. And voting is everyone's job, not just my black job, but it's everyone's job. So that's even more important. You all need to vote. Educate yourselves, get out there and vote, because I'm making the decisions for you all. This is David Washington. That's me. Reach out to me. I'm on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Apex Political, or you can go to our website, j-washington.com, and you'll find us. I'll see you then. I'm out. Bye. I love this music. See you the next time.